I had been working my entire life up until this point to get to where I was, and I wasn't happy. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adrienne if you are new here. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you for clicking on today's video. If you have not watched my recent video about my new beginnings, new direction that I'm taking this channel in, please watch that first because I do explain a little bit about kind of these sit down chats and just like a little bit of background. So yeah, watch that first and then come back and watch this. So today I am telling you the story about how I left my job. And I was like, it finally feels right to record this. For a long time, I was not ready. I was very scared to record this. And yeah, I was just having a hard time with it. But now I feel really ready. I feel excited almost to share this with you. And my point in sharing this with you is because I'm gonna bring up some of the things that made it tough for me to make a decision that was ultimately in my best interest. And some of the lessons that I learned along the way, and just to share my experience in case anybody else is going through it and needs some help with this. So, background story is I'm a physician assistant, so I'm in healthcare. Obviously, we know what's going on in the world right now, and I will kind of talk about that a little bit and how this affected things, but preface with that, I started out my career in family medicine, primary care, and I was there from 2019 to 2021, 2 years. This is when everything started to happen in the world as well. So fresh out of my schooling and into my first job in my career in 2019, and lo and behold, we jump straight into a global panty. That's what I'm gonna call it because I don't want to be censored. So anyways, so I know that my journey and my experience as a new grad has been a little bit different in the first place. However, what I do think is that this global panty has brought out the cracks that have already been in the foundation of healthcare, if that makes sense. So I don't think the panty has created anything new. I think it's just bringing to light a lot of the problems that have already been here that we've kind of been blind to. So just want to say that. But anyways, family medicine for 2 years, and I began to get burnt out very easily. I'm going to make another video on burnout by itself because I think it's important to talk about, but I just want to say that. So I was burnt out and feeling really guilty about feeling burnt out because I was like, I'm a new grad. I've only been doing this for 2 years. I'm supposed to be doing this my entire life. How can I already be burnt out? Questioning if it was me, if it was my mindset. Am I just being negative? Am I not being strong enough? And that caused a lot of issues for me. Just a lot of negative turmoil in my head, blaming myself, feeling shame, feeling guilt. But looking back, I was burnt out, and it's okay that I was that soon into my career. So I started looking for new jobs, and my goal, my hope was to get into cosmetic dermatology or aesthetics, like injecting Botox, fillers, all of that stuff. It seemed to be a specialty in which people were really enjoying from what I saw on social media. It was kind of out of like the traditional healthcare realm. So it was something I could stay in my career for, but not necessarily have to deal with what I was getting burnt out from with like the traditional healthcare, like hospital settings, clinics, all of that, if that makes sense. So I started to look for jobs, and my hope was that I would get one. I did not have any experience in injecting or anything, and so it can be really hard to get into that specialty without having any prior experience. Well, I got an interview. I got an interview for a job, and I was so ecstatic, so excited. I thought, I manifested this. Great, this is so exciting. I'm about to do my dream specialty. Like, I get to get out of this specialty that I'm feeling burnt out in. I was over the moon. I was so excited. And I bring that up because I had rose-colored glasses on, and I think that was a big reason why I took a job that there were a lot of red flags from the beginning with, and I just overlooked them because I was so excited. So move forward, I leave my family medicine job and I take this other job because it's in my dream specialty, and it goes to shit like really fast. I am not gonna go into too much detail with the way that things were toxic, and I'm not obviously going to say where I worked or anything like that, but it was bad. Like, I felt like my license was in jeopardy. And not only was my license in jeopardy, but my mental health began to take a turn for the worse. Like, I thought I was burnt out in family medicine. Well, imagine going from being burnt out to then a very, very toxic career or toxic job. And I was questioning everything. I thought, oh, if this is what cosmetics is like, then I don't want to be in this. Should I just like leave healthcare altogether? I don't know what to do. Should I stay in this job and look for another job? Should I leave? Like, I was a mess, questioning myself, going back and forth. But I think the most important thing that I wanted to share was, deep down, I knew the answer. Deep down, I knew the right answer was to leave this job and take some time for myself to figure out what I really wanted to do. But that felt so scary. It felt scary because I felt like I was going to be looked at as irresponsible if I left a job before having another one lined up. I felt like I wasn't gonna be good enough if I didn't work in healthcare anymore. I had been working my entire life up until this point to get to where I was, and I wasn't happy. And I felt so much shame around that. And so I stayed. I stayed in this toxic job for longer than I should have. Like, within the first couple days, I should have left, honestly. Like, it was that bad. But I ended up staying like a month and a half. And it got to the point where I was waking up having panic attacks and could barely get myself out of bed to get to work. And that's when I knew I gotta leave. In the meanwhile, I was looking for other jobs. I was putting my resume out there, but I was not getting any hits. I wasn't getting any interviews. There were other probably jobs I could have taken, but again, I was burnt out. So I didn't want to jump into the hospital setting, working crazy hours and stuff, because I knew my mental health was like taking a toll. So yeah, so I was looking and I was putting my stuff out there, but I just wasn't getting any interviews. And so I made the decision one morning. I woke up in panic and I said, I have to leave. I have to leave this job. And so I did. Long story short, I did. And it was the scariest thing I have ever done in my entire life, because and I'm sure a lot of you can relate, I'm a planner. I'm a planner and I like to have things under control. I want to have the next step. I want to know what I'm going to next. I want to have the job lined up. I want to make sure I have benefits. I want to make sure I have healthcare insurance, like health insurance, and I knew quitting, I wasn't gonna have any of that, and it felt so scary. But I did it. And I am so proud of myself for doing it. And this is not for everybody. I also wanna say that, like, if you're in a job that you hate and you have like kids or things like that, I know I'm in a different situation because I don't have kids, I don't have anyone else that I'm responsible for. I can make this decision without having to think about anybody else besides myself, and I'm really grateful for that. So this decision, I'm not saying to do this, I'm just telling you my story and like what happened for me. So I want to say that too. So I left the job. When I made the decision and I did quit that day, relief rushed over me. And that was how I knew that I had made the right decision. The relief didn't last because I jumped into other anxieties and things that were going on, but in the moment that I did it, and that whole day and into the next day, I just felt relief. Huge relief. And that told me, my intuition, I knew that I had made the right decision. But let's fast forward about a week or two. Things got a little bit crazy for me. I had no drive to look for another job. I was burnt out. I was scared. I was questioning my entire career, and I just didn't know what I wanted. But beyond that, I felt this pressure I need to figure it out, because now I don't have health insurance. I'm not making an income. I just didn't know what to do. There was so much going on for me. My mental health actually worsened a little bit. So I know a lot of people like have these I left my job stories, and then everything's great, and they like go into their dream career, or they start a business or whatever. It was not the case for me. Still figuring it out. I'm doing a lot better now. I'm months from this happening, and I'm telling the story from hindsight. But yeah, that was not the case for me. I spiraled a little bit, to be quite honest with you. I had days where I could not get out of bed. I felt my whole world was turned upside down because, like I said, leading up into this point, high school, college, graduate school, like everything was building up to me becoming a physician assistant, and then I got into it and I wasn't happy. So I'm having this like identity crisis, but I'm also feeling pressure to get back into the career because I need to make the money, I need the healthcare benefits, all of that stuff. And every day I was facing this. So I ended up not having a job for about 3 months. And in this time, I went deep into some healing. And I can't wait to talk about some of the stuff that I've learned with you guys, just about, you know, how we create our identities through our careers, our worthiness through our careers, and just how much of that is bullshit. I gave myself the time and the space to really dream, to think about what I want out of this life. Do I want to stay in healthcare? Do I not? Do I want to try to find something else and see if it's better? I mean, I had the time and the space and had nothing else to do but to go deep within myself and ask myself these questions, like truly ask myself these questions, not based on the world around me. What is in society, what looks good? You know, what would my parents want for me? What do my grandparents want? What do I want? Like I really got to ask myself those questions and face myself and look at all of that. And I healed a lot of my identity around my career and the feelings that I got of basing my worthiness on my career, and just I got to do a lot in those 3 months. So in the time, I didn't know what I was doing. I was journaling, I was meditating, I was just trying to feel better. I was trying to figure out what I wanted because I literally had to figure out what I wanted. But looking back, those were probably the 3 most transformative months of my life, because I really got to look at myself without anything else dictating what I should or shouldn't do. At this point, 3 months out, I will give you a whole update, but I do have another job. I love it so far, and I'm really excited, and I'll share more with you about that and how that came to be, because it kind of just landed in my lap. It was like yeah, it was really exciting. But anyways, so I do have another job, but I'm still trying to figure it all out. What I do know is I am not defined by my career. I know that I am worthy because I'm here, because I'm alive, not because of my title, because of my degree, or because what I do in life. I know that I can at any point pivot, and I will in my career and still be just as worthy of a human being. And I know that my ultimate goal in life is not the status, is not the career, is not the degree. It's to be happy. It's to do what actually brings me joy and not do what I think other people want me to do or what looks good. It's what do I want to do. So yeah. I've only had this new job for a couple of weeks. I've only been out of this time that I'm talking about for a couple of weeks. And I wanted to make this video now because I want to be able to document what I continue to learn and how everything continues to evolve for me as I'm going through it, instead of telling the story way in hindsight and being like, this was the time in my life that everything changed and now look at me. Like, I want you to see that, like, I'm still going through it. I'm still figuring it out. And like I said, all I really know right now is I want to be happy in life. I want to wake up every day and love my life. I don't want to be chained to a career just because I feel like I have to be. If I'm going to be in this career, I want it to be because it genuinely makes me happy and betters my life. So that was the story. I feel like I rambled. Like, when I do these right now, because I'm like new to doing these talks, I don't even know what I said. Like, did I miss things? I took notes and I didn't even look at them. I don't know, I just talked. I guess what I want to wrap this up with is, it's your life. And you know deep down what you need to do in order to make changes and what is really going to make you happy. And at some point, if you really want to live that life that you love, you've got to quiet the outside noise. You've got to stop listening to what other people say and figure out what is best for you. And like I said, quitting your job is not the answer for everybody. I'm talking about my experience in a very toxic workplace and the battle I had with, should I leave or should I stay? And knowing deep down the answer for me was to leave. And I didn't know what was gonna happen from there. But like I said, the 3 months following that, some of the hardest and most transformative months of my life, and I'm still in it. I'm still figuring it all out. So I think I'm gonna leave that here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you watched it all the way through, if you enjoy content like this, you wanna see more from me, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye.